Hey guys, welcome to this month's live stream. I'm trying to do these more often, if you probably have noticed. So, welcome. When you come in, if you can tell me where you are, if you're watching this later after the live is over, also tell me where you're coming from. I always like to hear. And I got a few questions, so I'm hoping that some people will jump in and ask a few more questions as this live goes on. Last time we did this, lots of people jumped on and asked a lot of great questions. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is if you're still planning on coming to Greece in 2024. I know that the peak season is over, but I know a lot of people like to come in September and October, and I'm getting questions about coming at different times of the year. So if you're still planning on coming, or maybe you've already booked and you're coming, I would love to hear where you're going and if you're still planning on coming. So, hello, I see more people are joining, and I was saying to the people that were already here, let me know where you're coming from. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump in with a couple of questions that I got in advance. And then obviously, you guys are welcome to ask questions at any time. And whether it's about Greece travel in general, you can probably ask me about me if you really care. um, Hi, John. Roads in 2 weeks. Ah, yes, lucky you. It'll probably be hopefully a little bit warmer and less rainy than where you are. It has been rainy in Athens this week, and it rained last week, but it's rained 2 days in a row here, and it's brought the temperature down, and it feels fantastic. I think today the high was 27. Okay, so one of the questions I got was where to go in Greece in October and which islands would I choose without a car rental. So a lot of you know that my favorite island is Naxos, and I think it's a great choice in the off season because usually it's still fairly warm enough. The bus schedule is still fairly frequent to go to the beaches and also to some of the mountain villages. Some of the mountain villages bus schedules will be less, but the big ones will still go. Any of the big islands, so Crete, probably Rhodes, Corfu, Syros, things like that, the ones that are bigger in population and bigger in size tend to have more things happening in the off season than the smaller ones. Like a lot of places, a lot of the hotels that are on the small islands will start to sort of stop even like having bookings at the end of September. When I was in Iraklia over the summer, I asked him, when he was going to stop. He said, well, I officially close at the end of September. He's like, if I stay open in October, it's only because I've gotten a request. So that kind of gives you an idea. Hi, Barbara. Um, I don't have an exact date on this new, it's not a visa. It's like telling people you're coming. I know that there's like, I think there is a date saying it's going to come out on a specific day, but it keeps getting pushed back, and I haven't kept up with it because I keep just being like, whatever. Don't worry too much about it. Like when it goes into effect, I imagine that you're going to have plenty of time to put it in. It'll be in 2025. It's not going to be this year. Um, but it's just going to be like a thing where you go in and say, this is where I'm coming in. Like if you're not coming to Greece first, you would say, well, maybe I'm going to France first, and that's it. Um, it's fairly similar to what people have to do in the UK, I think, to come to the US. So it's not a visa per se. It's just sort of like this, I'm coming just to let you know. Yeah, mid 2025 is, who knows? It may get pushed back from that too. So we'll see when it's like officially going to come out and they stop pushing it back. I will probably have a video about it because I know it is slightly confusing, and I'll look through it. I haven't paid that much attention because it's not going to affect me because since I'm a resident in the EU, I won't have to do it. So another question was the best islands for April, anywhere you can swim. That's going to be tricky because even like in Crete, it could be too cool to swim. It kind of depends on the winter that we've had because if it's been really cold or if it's rained a lot or we've had snow, the water is going to be really cold in April. It may be warm. Like I was in Tinos a couple of years ago for Greek Easter in April, and it was hot, but the water was cold, and none of the beaches like had beach chairs or anything. So I'm not really sure if there's really too many places in April that you could swim in. So, that's kind of tricky. So, yeah, I don't think they're gonna scrap it. I think that unfortunately this new system is here to stay. Another question that I got was basically kind of along the lines of, do I think going on a tour is worth it? I don't necessarily do them in Greece. I have done them in Greece. I did one for Meteora, and I'm so glad that I did because I learned things that I wouldn't have known otherwise. So, like, if you're coming to Athens and you want to learn all about, let's say, the Parthenon, then yes, you definitely want to have a tour guide because there's very little signage at a lot of the Greek archaeological sites. And everybody in Greece that's an official, like, licensed tour guide has taken a test and done all these things to be one. That's why I'm not allowed to do tours because you have to have a license here. You have to have passed this test. I believe you have to have a degree in specific subjects to be able to do it. So in Greece, if you want like a more in-depth thing, then I definitely think they're worth it. If you don't have a lot of time, but you want to have someone kind of guide you around, it's also great for that. If you only have like a half a day and you don't really want to deal with the tour guide because you like, I just want to see it and go, then it may not be. It also depends on the price, what you're willing to spend. Some of the tours that are really, really good are going to be really expensive because the person is very good. And obviously it depends on the tour guide you get. I've been on tours where the tour guide has just been kind of, not that they're bad. They have the information. They're just not entertaining. So, a lot of the tour guides who've been doing it for a really long time are really great. So, Hank says, anything on Milos you can offer? Yes. Milos. So, Milos is becoming more and more popular. I would say that the beaches are really great there. Although in May might be still too cool to swim. I would say the best thing that I did, I think, was go to the catacombs. I did not know they existed until I got there, and I was, reading about something in a hotel, I think, and I was like, oh, I want to go do that. And I thought it was really cool. However, my friend that I was with is claustrophobic, and she refused to go inside. They're not very big, but I thought it was really cool. And it's right above the area where the fishermen's huts are, so it was a really good thing to do like at the same time. But it doesn't take very long. I really liked the village of Plaka. It's kind of up on the hill, so you get a really great view. A lot of people say stay in Adamas, and it is the main town, but I would say it's not pretty. It's not as charming as some of the towns in other Greek islands. And that just happens sometimes. Like Milos was a big mining town island, so sometimes that's reflected in like how cute the main village is. Like if their main thing wasn't tourism, then it may not be as quaint as you would like it to be. It doesn't mean that it's not a nice place to stay. It's just not going to be picturesque. Yes, I have been to Agistri. It's a super quick ferry ride. I actually really liked it. It's very quiet, and even in the summer here, it's probably pretty quiet. It's I stayed. So there are two ports that you can go to in Agistri. One is called Scala, and one is called Milos. Ironically enough, they're only like a kilometer apart, so it doesn't really matter. However, if you want like a nice sandy beach, Scala has the nice sandy beach, and it's right there by the ferry, like where it drops you off. There is another sandy beach, and I think there's one beach bar there. I haven't been to it, but you would have to take the bus. I mean, I guess you could walk there, but I don't know how long of a walk it is. I think it's called Dragonera Beach, and it looks beautiful. I haven't been there, but um, so getting to Agistri is fairly easy. It's like going to Egina. There are multiple ferries a day. There aren't a lot of hotels on the island, though, and they tend to book up quickly, particularly if you want to stay in Scala, because that's where a lot of the hotels are, just because it's where the ferry comes and it's a nice sandy beach. And so they tend to get booked up faster. I think it's also kind of expensive for like the hotels are kind of expensive sometimes for what they are, but I liked it. I would go back. I was looking when I went to Egina 2 weeks ago for the day. I'd almost considered going to Agistri, but I decided not to. I can't remember why now. Anyway, and that's all I've gotten for questions. So please feel free to go ahead and ask me anything. Again, if you're coming in later, please tell me like where you're from and if you're coming to Greece in the rest of 2024. Or even if you have questions about 2025, it's not specific. I'm just kind of curious, like who's still coming this year. I am hoping to go away again either next week or the end of September, which we're almost there. I think next week is the end of September. And again in October, I'm hoping to go to Danusa because it's the last small Cycladic island that I haven't been to. So there's Naxos and the small Cyclades, and I've now been to all of them except for Danusa. I hit Heraclea and Scunusa this summer. Highly recommend if you want something really laid back and quiet. And my Greek teacher, I was actually asking him because he was off a lot of August. And I was like, oh, where did you go? Because I know he's from Thessaloniki. And he said, oh, I went to Danusa. He's like, I go every year. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, but it's not one of those islands like a lot of the small Cyclades that's easy to get to. So I was looking at the ferry schedule, and the ferry schedule is like from Piraeus at like 5:30 in the evening, and then it gets into Danusa at like midnight or something. Not a big deal. It's just, not sort of like an ideal time. And then it doesn't go every day. It goes like 2 or 3 times a week. It leaves directly from Piraeus. You may be able to go to like Naxos and get on the Express Scopoletis or, catch another ferry in Naxos to go there. And so Paul says Danusa is worth the effort. What is it that's in Danusa that you like so much? I mean, the beaches look amazing, but I know it's a really small island, and I need to ask my Greek teacher as well, like why he likes it so much. I really like a small, quiet island, so it's probably right up my alley. I'm actually thinking that when I do Danusa, I'm hoping that maybe I can go back to Heraclea. So we'll see what happens. Restaurant suggestions in Athens. So there are a lot of places that I really like. One is more touristy, although I don't think it gets mentioned a lot because I don't think that most tourists go to it, unless they walk by it. It's called Gigigas Kemermigos, and they have several locations, but there is one down on Metropolis right off of Sigtagma, and it's traditional. It's a little more expensive because it is like in the touristy area, but the food is really good, and the service is really good as well. I do recommend that if you're here like in the summer, you go like the day before and make a reservation because they can get very busy. One that definitely never gets mentioned by anybody because I went on a food tour and found out about it is called Pyroliki. It's in Keramikos. Very good, very traditional. And they're in like an old building, and the place to eat is in the back in the garden. Love it. Nobody sits inside. And so I really like it. I take and it's a seasonal menu, so it changes like by the season. So nothing is ever the same twice, which is also really nice when you live here. There's a place in Kolonaki called Berbilo that I really like. Very traditional. I had this slow cook pork there that just like fell apart when you touched it. Not even when you cut into it, it just fell apart. There is another restaurant kind of across the street from it, but it is a little more well-known, but that's also really good, and it's called Oniro. I think I'm saying that correct, which means a dream. Anyway, that one's really good. Those are just a few. Okay, I like that. I like the sound of very small beaches, exceptionally quiet. Are there a lot of taxis at the ferry port? It kind of depends on which ferry port you're talking about. In Piraeus, yes, tons of them. Rafina, yes, there were lots of them. I recently came back from Kea and went to Lavrio. There were a few. I had pre-booked a taxi though because it is like an hour drive, so I didn't want to like take the risk. But I didn't see very many. On the islands, it depends. So when I was in Kea, I took a taxi a few times, and I had to take a taxi to the ferry because the bus in Kea is not great. And I said, "How many taxis are there?" And he said 6. So that's the case. So, like in Santorini, my understanding there's only like 40 taxis. And if you consider how many hundreds of thousands of people come every year to Santorini, I think there might be, I don't know, there just aren't a lot of taxis. I would imagine in Mykonos there would be, but I wouldn't necessarily because everybody's going to be wanting to get a taxi. So, um, you know, keep that in mind. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. I've never gone to Lefkada to Ithaca. Been past Lefkada, never gotten off. I've always went on a sailboat. Um, but I think it would be amazing. I mean, Lefkada has some amazing beaches, and everybody raves about Ithaca. So do it. The Greek lessons. I mean, I don't think I'm really learning that. I mean, I can see progress in my Greek, and my Greek teacher says I'm making progress. So I don't know. It's going to take a few years, I think. So I need to get to a B2 level of Greek. So could be challenging, but I'll get there. It since I'm here, it's helpful because I hear Greek, every day. So and I'm a fairly active listener. I'm not trying to spy on people, but I do like to trigger if I can figure out what they're talking about. Like today, I was on the metro and these two women were talking about how long it takes them on the metro to get somewhere. I just understood they were saying 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and then they just went back and forth a few times. So I wasn't paying that much attention. So, but if I hear a word I know, then I'm like, oh, what are they talking about? So, I've only been to one mall in Athens, so I'm probably not the best person to. I am not a shopper, so like, I think I only went to that mall because I was trying to find some air conditioning while I was waiting for a bus. But I mean, the malls I hear are pretty good. I have a friend who used to live here who loved the mall, and it's called the mall. It's up north. You could probably take the metro to it. But I haven't really been in a lot of the malls, so um, I'm sorry. Oh, that's good to know. I think that all of those islands, like Kefalonia, Lefkada, Ithaca, they all are very. They have these beautiful beaches, and they're a lot more green, obviously, than the Cyclades. So if you're wanting to go to like a lush green island, then those are a really good option. Um, but the one thing I like to remind people, and not that everybody wants this, but a lot of people want to see blue and white houses. But if you go to those, you're not necessarily going to get that because those are more like Venetian sort of inspired, like Corfu. And that's just because of the history of the islands. So, and it's not like a tropical green island, it's like pine trees. So it smells fantastic. I read something and I didn't read the whole article, but I got something that came across my inbox the other day. I subscribe to all these travel things, and they said that Greece, or maybe it was Athens, was the best smelling big city in Europe. And for the most part, I agree. But sometimes when I go to throw away the trash, I think, are you kidding me? Okay. Yeah, because Jutigas, Kimmermigas is hard to spell. I'm not even sure if I can spell it. Let's see. There's one of them. Well, okay. My comments are taking a little bit time to show up. And the other one, okay, the reason why you may not be finding Berbilo is because there is no B in Greek. And so it's spelled MP, sorry, MP. Hold on. I'm going to go to Google Maps and find it because otherwise I will spell it incorrectly. I'm going to do it on my phone so I don't mess up the stream. I don't know if I can find, there it is. Okay, I'm going to spell it like they spell it Anglicanized Greek letters. Okay. So those are the two. And here's the other one. There's a spring and goats. Okay. I need to go there. Like there are goats on the beach? Okay. I need goats. It's like the pigs on the beach in the Bahamas. You don't really need to, no, I wouldn't say definitely not in October. I don't even think now. I had a friend who was just here and they went to the Acropolis Museum and on like, was it a Sunday? I can't remember. It was over the weekend. Yeah, it was a Sunday and he did not buy tickets in advance and it wasn't an issue. He had to wait a few like 10 minutes, but he literally was out in an hour. So not a big deal. So things I miss most about the US. Well, I used to say Mexican food, but I recently found an amazing Tex-Mex restaurant up in Garcia called Dos Hermanos, and it's pretty darn close, and they have an excellent margarita. So, and I kind of I had to go up there a lot over the summer, and so I would go and eat there every night. Every time I went up there, I would go eat at Dos Hermanos at like 5:30 because like I had to my appointment was at 4, so I would wait till like 5. So I'm like the old lady eating at 5:30, and it was usually empty, but it was fantastic. Well, so like the only thing, and this doesn't bother me too much, but like um I kind of miss being able to like go to Walmart and just buy all the things I need to do rather than having to go like 4 different stores. Cause like here, you can't just go to one store necessarily and buy all the things that you need. Even sometimes grocery shopping, like I'll go to the supermarket and they'll just be out of something. And because the supermarket is small and they don't keep a big back stock, so sometimes like I have not been able to buy pot bolognese like pasta set with meat in it in my supermarket for months. I was able to order it online, but I just can't get it in the store. So that's kind of annoying. I've kind of gotten used to everything else. Like, we don't have Amazon here, so I don't really miss that per se. But I'm not, like I've said, I'm not a big shopper, so I don't buy a lot. Like, and we have pretty good food, obviously, and we get delivery. So, but I've also lived outside the US for so long now that I don't even think about it anymore. Um, I think for me, a lot of times it's just the ease of getting things done. Like things are not easy here. Like things just take longer than they should. So, like I ordered something from IKEA on September 2nd. It is now the 19th. I just got a message today saying that it's ready to be shipped. So, oh, okay. We have another Mexican food restaurant called Loco Sabor in Paleofario. I never go down there, but maybe I will. I had heard that, but I wasn't sure where it was. I'd seen video of the pigs on the beach here, but I couldn't figure out where it was. Now that you're saying that, it makes sense because the water was the color of the water over there in the Ionian. Are they as friendly as the ones in the Bahamas? I don't know. You know what? Not flushing the toilet paper thing doesn't bother me anymore. In fact, when I go home to the US, I forget, and then, of course, I have to adjust when I come home. I do miss having a dryer. I used to go to the laundromat because I didn't have a washer in my apartment for the longest time, and I moved into this apartment thinking that I would be able to get a washer-dryer combination, and my bathroom was too small. So I had to get one of these side loading type ones, which unless you've been in Europe and you've seen one, you don't know what I'm talking about. 'Cause the drum is like turned on its side and you can only wash. It doesn't have drying capabilities. So, but you know what? At least I'm saving electricity. um, I kind of miss having a car, but that's not Greece. That's just in general. Like I had a car when I lived in Qatar. And I really liked I like having a car. I'm from Texas, you know, I've been driving since I was, like, 13, so I miss having a car. I think if I had a car, I would go on road trips on the weekends, um, so I kind of wish that I had a car. Okay, this is my friend, and he knows that I, A, haven't planned that far in advance, and he's the friend that I go sailing with. I don't know, am I going sailing next year? Hopefully I'm going sailing a little bit next year. Um, if you guys don't know, I really enjoy that's actually how I came to Greece the first time. I um I went on a 2-week sailing trip. So it's one of my favorite things to do here. That's what I was doing in Chaos. If you missed that after this is over, you should go check that video out. Film so much the sailing as I did the first couple of times I did it because I found that people who aren't sailors don't like to watch the sailing parts. Um, so, oh, good. I'm glad that you think I can come sailing next year. So yeah. So it depends on your state. So since I'm from Texas, I have to request a mail ballot, which now it used to be they would mail it to you, which was kind of a pain because there'd been years that it didn't come in time. But now you can get the ballot by email, but then you have to mail it back. Now, if you have US postage, you can take it to the embassy and they will mail it for you. Like they'll put it in the diplomatic pouch and then they'll drop it in the mail. But I never remember to bring stamps back from the US. So I spend an absorbent amount of money and I ship it DHL just because it's like the most efficient way to get it there. The metro isn't super confusing. If you've used a metro before, it's very simple. If you haven't used a metro before, it's still not super difficult. It's just that you have to pay attention to which direction you need to go into because, like, in some places it'll say like north, south, whatever, but in Athens, it gives you the end station at each end. So, like, it says, this is the name of it. Like today, I went to Kifisia. The last stop is Kifisia. So, you need to go in the direction of Kifisia. The other direction goes to Piraeus. So, depending on where you are, you need to figure out which direction you need to go to. There's only a few platforms in Athens where both trains come in at the same platform. So, you need to look and check. Most of them don't, though. Like, if you go down the stairs, for the direction that you need to go to, only that train will come. The other thing that is it's not confusing, it's just frustrating, is the line to the airport. Not every train goes to the airport. So you need to look for the ones that say airport on the front, or there's little electric signs that say which ones, like the next train's in 2 minutes. Well, that one's stopping at this one. And then the next one will say coming in 10 minutes and it'll say airport, or in Greek, aerodromio. So actually, I was in Ammonia today, because I took the bus to Ammonia and got on the metro from there. Yeah, I think it's fine during the day, and it's, like, so much more alive than it was even when I moved here. They've made so many improvements, and there are so many hotels that have moved into it. I think it's gonna vastly change the area. I think it's probably getting to the point where, um, it's probably not so bad at night. I haven't been down there at night in, like, 2 years. So, maybe I'll check it out one day. It doesn't bother me, but I also used to live in New York City. So I'm kind of a big city person, so nothing really bothers me. Probably should. I don't know if there are any American bakeries here. I really don't eat sweets, and since I've tried to cut back on my gluten, I definitely don't go to the bakery. I'm not the person to ask, and I definitely don't really look for American things here, like, the only thing I buy that's really American is Gap clothes because we have them. I think it's fine to take the metro from Syntagma at any time of the day to the airport. You just need to be aware that that could happen, so don't be distracted, don't be talking to people, don't, be aware of your surroundings. Like, it sounds like you're already aware of it, so you'll probably be fine. Make sure that your valuables are in a bag that's in front of you. Keep your hand on it. I've never had an issue here. I've never had an issue anywhere, but I'm also hyper vigilant. Like, I'm looking at people when I'm on the train, and I'm not like lost in my own world. And I have earphones in, and sometimes I'm reading, but I'm not reading if I'm standing. If I'm reading, I'm sitting down in a seat. I wouldn't leave my bag by itself. Like, there are shelves, and you can put them on there, but I would stand next to them. But they also target people that are tourists. So if you have suitcases with you, then they're going to know. So just, you know, and don't flash cash. Don't, like, if you've got jewelry on, maybe put that away for the ride there. Like, don't make yourself a target. I haven't been to Avia yet at all, unfortunately. I have a friend who keeps going like every weekend, and I'm like, can you take me? I think, and he said the other day that there's a bus to where he's going, and I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out. So maybe, maybe next year. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't wear anything that, like, is going to attract attention. I would say that if you're coming from America, like, don't wear something with an American flag on it. Don't wear like a college t-shirt. I mean, you can wear them when you're here, but on the metro, like, you just scream American because Europeans don't really do that. They don't wear like Harvard across their chest. So, yeah. um, I used to say, like, don't wear baseball caps, but more and more Europeans are wearing them, especially like 20 somethings and teenagers. So that's probably not the greatest advice anymore. If you want to blend in Athens, wear black. It's just like the standard in almost any big city that you're in. Black is like the standard. Like, you're not going to go wrong. So I'm actually hi, Victoria. I think you messaged me last week. Um, I'm actually gonna make a video on Piraeus next week. Like, that's my plan for the weekend, is to go to Piraeus. So I'll have a video for you. There are several museums, and so I think it should be really nice at Christmas. Actually, it's they decorate in front of the big church. They put out a big tree, and the Piraeus Tower has lights. So it should be nice at Christmas. But I'm gonna go. I mean, I've done a lot of Piraeus, but some of the museums I haven't been to. So I'm hoping to hit one of the museums and then walk around and show you some of my favorite parts. So stay tuned. I would definitely say so. I don't know about London, but I know Rome and Paris are terrible. Like, Barcelona's the worst. So I was in Barcelona a few years ago, and I was just walking around like my phone, and I was like, I need to look something up, but I was like this because I was afraid, because they'll just snatch it out of your hand. Um, but it's also why I advise people, like, don't walk around with your passport. People will tell you it's required, and yeah, legally it is. They might give you a hard time if they asked you for it, but the thing is I would rather have the police give me a hard time than my passport get stolen and me have to deal with the hassle of replacing it. So I never suggest that you carry your passport around. Carry a copy of it, either a digital one or a paper one, and put it in the safe. Not so much here, but in any of those places, I would definitely, like, put those in a safe. So it was you. Okay, I'm not losing my mind. Yeah, no, I'm excited about doing. I've wanted to do the Piraeus one for a while, but it's been so hot this summer, I haven't wanted to do it. And now that it's finally cool, I feel like I can go and be out a whole day in Piraeus and not die from heat exhaustion. So not yet. This new system is supposed to come in 2025. And as far as I know, like I've never had to fill anything in coming into Greece, even when I didn't have a residence permit. It's not like a customs form like you do in some countries. So you shouldn't have an issue, but you might want to look on like your government website or the Greek website to be sure, because you're coming from a different country, I can't say for sure. So, and gosh, Argentina, hi. Like I was actually talking to my friend that's on about South America about where I should it's one of the continents I haven't been to, so I'm like maybe I need to go there soon. So well, hello neighbor. Yeah, I think Paleofario is really nice, especially if you want to stay in Athens but still have like a beach experience. It's a great place to stay. Still don't like swimming in the area. I did try that a few weeks ago. It was really technically, I think it's technically further down, um, but it's nice like to walk and just like they have that nice big sidewalk and you can see the sea and people are walking their dogs and they're out with their kids and their grandparents. It's like kind of a nice place to watch like Greek life go by. So yeah, that's one of the places I want to hit. I don't know if I'm going to go to the Naval Museum. I think I'm going to go to the Archaeological Museum. And then there's also, I don't think I'm going to do that, but because I can't take video usually in the museums, but there's an electric railway museum. So that's interesting as well. I've heard that yeah, it's better to go further down the coast, like as far away from the center as you can get. It's just because of all the boat traffic. It's not so much it's not clean. It's just it feels kind of gritty and there is some plastic and stuff in the water, but it definitely, I think it used to be worse. It's definitely better than it used to be when I first started coming here. So yeah, I went to, it was called, what's the name of the beach club? Boulevard. So it's like halfway between like Vulameni and Paleofario. So could be worse, I guess. I have been to Jumbo. There's not one really close to me that's like convenient. So and I think if I went to Jumbo, I would have crap in my apartment that I don't need. It's kind of why I try to order stuff from IKEA online so I don't go to the IKEA because I will buy stuff if I go to the IKEA. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of always jealous of the people that live on that little peninsula, I think where you're talking about in Castorella, I think it's called, is the other area in Piraeus because like they're up on a hill and they have this amazing view. And they can see the cruise boats and then they can probably see the ferries go in and out. And then there's that fabulous little area, Micro Limani, that has all the restaurants, and they've renovated it. And I've been down there, but I haven't been down there since they renovated it. So I'm super excited to see what it looks like now. And all the restaurants down there are nice. In fact, I may end up filming over 2 days just so I can go out to eat twice for this video. We'll see. It depends on the weather. Like I didn't think it was going to rain today. It rained yesterday and then it rained again today. So it might rain again tomorrow. So I'm hoping to go Friday, Saturday. Keep your fingers crossed. We need the rain though, so I can't. Micro limano, yes. So pray that it doesn't rain this weekend, just so I can get this shot for you guys, because I haven't been able to go anywhere in the last couple of weeks. And that's part of the reason we're doing the live, because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to just go out and film random stuff. I'm going to just talk to you guys. I'd rather talk to you guys than do that. So, but I have been wanting to make this Piraeus video. So now that it's not so hot, I think like it'll actually be enjoyable. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, for those of you who are watching, since you're watching, Do you want me to say in the video, like, how to get to Piraeus, or do you not care? I'm just gonna take a taxi, or you wanna know how to get there on the metro, or the bus or whatever? Because I could talk about that probably, like, at the end of the video or something. I could talk about how to get down there, because I do get a lot of questions about how to get from the airport to Piraeus, but I think some people are come and then they go there, like, on the way to the ferry, obviously, and some people do Athens first, so let me know. Maybe you don't care. Um, so anyway, I'm excited. I will probably hmm, I'll probably take the metro down. It's not easy for me to get down to Paris. Like, if I'm gonna go take a ferry somewhere, I usually just take a taxi, and then on the way back, I'll take the metro because usually the ferries are leaving in the morning, and, like, I'm not gonna get up at, like, 5 o'clock to try to, like, get on the bus and everything, so, yeah. That's the other thing is, like, if you get down there and you don't know where you're going, Piraeus is huge, and, like, if you're at the wrong gate, although there is a bus inside the port, but it doesn't go, it's, like, inside, like, but I don't know how often it goes, and I think I've only taken it once, so oh, I can't highlight my comments, what's going on? Okay. I've only been to Paris once, so I have not been there. I've been to a steak place once up there, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it was super swanky. But it was very, very good. So no, I haven't been up there. Do I don't like that a lot of the buildings are high rises because I think that's going to ruin, like, the skyline of Greece. Depends on how high they are. Like, in the elevations that I've seen, some of the buildings look really tall. That worries me a little bit. I wish they were keeping more of the airport buildings, but again, I haven't seen all of the projects, so, like, I could be totally wrong about all of that. Um, but they are preserving two of the Olympic Airlines planes in right now on the property, and I think the plan is to put them somewhere, so that's really cool. So some of that will change, but yeah, I think it's going to be a big transformation. Right now, it just looks awful because it's just this giant stretch of construction. But something has to be done with it. Like, it was kind of derelict, and I think the buildings were getting broken into, and so it wasn't great in that sense. I would just wish it had become something a little more culturally significant. But I guess we have a lot of that here. So, and we desperately need housing, but it's not affordable housing. Like, everything's super expensive. So not, but since I'm not Greek, sometimes I feel like I don't really have a say in a lot of this stuff. So anyway, I mean, it's very far from me to, like, it's not going to impact my daily life. So, um, I mean, I know Greeks, like, if they don't like something, they'll complain. So I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of complaints on it, but I don't think I was living here at the time when the project sort of was announced and started, because it's been in the works for a while. So it could be that there were protests at the beginning. I don't know. I love the Stavros Niarchos complex. Like, it's, I don't know what it was before. Um, so we'll see. I don't know, but all the Athenians I talk to, they love it. Like, it's fabulous to walk around. The library is great. Just going down there and sitting and relaxing is so nice. Like, just going over there and, like, getting a coffee shop, like getting a coffee and sitting outside watching the water show. Um, it's nice. So the ban, if you're not aware, they've decided that new Airbnb licenses will be issued for a year. Now, I don't know, I think it's starting January 1st. So I don't know. This is like a temporary solution to try to fix the long-term housing problem that we have here. The other thing is that with the new changes to the golden visa, so they upped the golden visa, But also with the new golden visa rules, you cannot rent out your place on Airbnb. So, um, anyway, yeah. For right now, I'm just going to the US. I usually go home for like 6 weeks to 2 months in the winter, see my family. Um, some last year I went to New York City while I was there. I may try to go somewhere where I'm home this year, but I don't have that set in stone. Uh, I'm not a big planner when it comes to travel. Probably would save me money, but anyway. Um, I don't know. It depends on where you were. I'm not sure. And I'm not up to date on like all the hotel construction down in the southern part. Like if it's here in the center of Athens, I know a lot more. So, ooh, very nice. Very nice. Fairy tale. Where is fairy tale? I've not even heard of it. Huh. Shows you how out of the know I am. Sometimes I'm really bad about like because I live in Kukaki, there's so many nice places here. I tend to like not like venture beyond my neighborhood. So tell me where it is because now don't know where it is. Ah, you're in Mykonos. How is it there? Is it crowded still? I'd like to know. I've never been. You better book soon. Yeah, I think the prices I mean, I don't know about, like, overall airfare prices, like, when I've been trying to look at my flight home to the US for Christmas, the flight prices are insane. Um, I feel like hotels were more expensive this year, and I don't know if that will continue till next year. I don't know. There's been this weird, like, influx, like, less people going to Mykonos and Santorini. So I don't know if that's gonna affect that, and, like, now they've announced that there will be a limit to 8,000 cruise passengers a day in Santorini next year. I don't know when that starts, and then they're going to introduce a, like, per person fee to go to Santorini, Mykonos, and some of the other islands that have, cruise ship traffic, and it'll the amount of the fee will depend on how popular it is. So, like, the ones that are less popular, it'll be a much smaller fee, but I think for Santorini Mykonos, it's 20 euros per person per day. So, because we do have a problem with over tourism, not in the sense that, like, there isn't enough hotels and whatever. What it is there isn't the infrastructure to support that many people being in Santorini. So they're running out of water. They have a problem with trash, and there are not enough taxis on the island. And the same thing happens in Naxos. Like when I was there in July, they had installed two more temporary desalination makers because Naxos has run out of water. Even in Athens, we're running out of water. So it's crazy. Oh, fairy tales in Siri. Okay, good to know. Fairy tale. I'm gonna have to go because I've not even heard of it. Um, so, uh, yeah, I think you must have missed the beginning of the stream. I haven't been to Danusa is the only place I haven't been yet, and I'm hoping to go before the season sort of ends. So, I have not been in Athens for years because I am always home usually. There's been a few times when I've technically been here, but I've been jet lagged, so I don't go out. I would not say Philippapu Hill. Philippapu Hill at night is probably not super safe. I would like try to pick like a rooftop bar or something. That would probably be the best option. You would probably need reservations, but um, it's the probably the best, safest, nicest option. Naxos, of course. Naxos, Eos, and this summer I really enjoyed Heraclea. I liked how quiet it was in Skanusa. The nice thing about Skanusa was that like it's quiet, But at night there was stuff to do, like there were bars and restaurants, whereas in Heraclea it was very quiet. Like if you need to sleep. So, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. I've been treated badly at the not this airport, but in other airports. So I don't it's not all of that, but I mean, I know it is some. I'm not trying to downplay that, but it definitely can be. Ooh, you're welcome. Oh, okay. Definitely interested. Definitely interested in that. I don't know, when I'm at the airport, I think the issue is not maybe with you, but with some people, they don't speak very good English, and so since Greek's English, even though a lot of Greeks speak English, it's not necessarily great, and so there's like this miscommunication. But I can't say that it's not abnormal. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, and if we did, that wouldn't happen at all anywhere. But unfortunately, it does. It could just also be that the person is crabby. So I think airport workers are just crabby in general. Like they're overworked. There's probably a lot of really rude people that aren't you that have come in before and then they take it out on you. So it's really frustrating in the moment, but I would say try not to let it ruin your experience because it's not worth it. Like, it's just not. Like, one time I went to the UK and they practically, I was like almost in tears because they were grilling me so hard about like what I was doing there and how long I was going to be there. And it's even happened to me into the US. Like I came back when I lived in Qatar, I'd come back to the US and they were grilling me. I'm like, are you not like, I was like, are you not going to let me in? And so I've had it happen to me as well. So, um, yeah, it's kind of not great. It's not a fun experience. Like, and I think my experience is probably pretty mild compared to somebody else. Like, I'm pretty normal looking, like, I'm pretty generic. So I think if you're anything darker than me, it's going to be, and, unfortunately, it's an issue. And it's probably 10 times worse than what I experienced. So it's terrible. Um, so I'm sorry that happened. And I wish that it didn't. So some people may have come in later, and so I was asking where people were coming in from, and a lot of you told me, and some people have told me that they are coming to Greece. But is anybody still that has come in later that you're still coming to Greece this year, or maybe you're here now? I know that some people are here now because you let me know, or you're coming later this year. Um, and if you're not coming, or you didn't come this year, are you coming next year? Where are you going? So I'm hoping. So this year, my goal was to hit new islands, not all new, but new-ish. So I hit a couple. So I went to Andros. Had not been to Andros before, and Heraclea was new. I feel like there was something else. Well, I had. I can't think now. My brain has gone on where I went this year. So, um, oh, you live here. Okay, and you're my neighbor. I've been to Kufanisi. I just went for the day. Fabulous though. Super wild, super beautiful. Um, and totally walkable. Like I took one of the little boats. It takes you to like you can take it to the furthest beach, and then I just walked this path the whole way back. And it only took me like an hour tops. I stopped and had lunch and a beer, and it was great. Yes, coming again next year. You think Athens airport's a nightmare? Okay. Huh. I've only had fairly decent experiences in the Athens airport, so and Heathrow is just ugh. Although I go there once a year, twice a year, and it's I've gotten used to it, but I know everybody um hates Heathrow. So some people do see me. I saw some people in Aggie Marina 2 weeks ago, and they kept looking at me, and I was like, it was one of those experiences where I was like, I think I'd woken up from a nap, and so I was like, "Do I have like mascara running down my face?" And they're like, "No, no, we just watch our YouTube channel." I was like, "Oh, okay, great." But if you see me, say hi because I obviously don't know what you look like. So I've been trying to do more because I like talking to you guys and I like to hear your questions. So yes, it's been raining. It has been raining. It rained yesterday. It rained today. It wasn't supposed to rain today, according to the forecast, and they're saying it's going to rain tomorrow. So, and September is like this. It's usually the first like week or so of September, or week two, so, but it's lasting a little bit longer. But we didn't get it the first week. It started like the second week of September. So, I don't know how they're handling the weather at Stunyon. It might not have kind of ruined the sunset. So, okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Athens is so easy. Even if you're transferring, it's easy. So, I've done Heathrow so much now that like I actually look forward to it because I go and get a pret a manger sandwich and chips and the little chocolate mousse, and I enjoy it. And I know I allow myself 4 hours for my layover. I'll do 3.5. Anything less, I won't book it. It's too stressful. So we're gonna do that next year. Okay, yeah, I think there was just confusion on my part. I had a blonde moment there. So, yeah, I mean, we had the heat wave at the beginning of the summer. And normally the weather we're having now is the weather we would have in June, where it's like 75, 80, so like 25 to 30 degrees and really nice in June, but it's like flip-flop this year. So, it's crazy. But we need the rain and like it feels fantastic outside. Like I went on Monday night, I went to my Greek lesson and I was wearing shorts. And I was like, oh, it's kind of chilly. So today when I had to go up to um Kifsia, I wore pants. So there was not a fire near me. There was fire earlier this year, closer to Athens than I've ever seen it be before. So, but it happens every year. So it's not great. And yeah, don't get me started on the fires. So hello from Hydra. Hello, neighbors. You're just there visiting, or you live there? The people that live in Hydra always intrigue me because I'm like, what is it like there in the winter? Because there aren't very many fairies there in the winter, I don't think. So, anyway, I do have water. I was thinking I didn't get myself a water before this. Mm. Technically, no, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. My Greek teacher says I'm getting better. I mean, I feel like I am making progress, but I still can't have a conversation, which is kind of frustrating. But it takes time. So, oh, you're on holiday. Okay. Word of mouth, really. There are a lot of expat like Facebook groups, and people will recommend people. But I don't have an accountant, and I no longer use a lawyer for anything. Like I've done everything myself. A lot of stuff in Greece has changed since COVID. So like all the stuff that you need, I mean, you can't file your taxes online. Well, I guess you can. I don't know. There are just certain things that you can do with something. Like I have an accountant, but I don't really, but all of it was word of mouth. So like Facebook groups, now that I've been here longer, it's been like friends of friends. I shouldn't say I don't have an accountant. I have one. I just don't talk to them as much as most people probably do here. So, but yeah, the thing is like I've had a lawyer and they were nice, but I had to harass them a lot, and then I tried to get another lawyer, and they were also nice and gave me lots of good information, but then to get anything done, they never did it, so I just did it myself. So I am very much the person's like, I'm gonna figure out how to do it by myself, and I'm not gonna let like somebody else do it for me. Like when I had a car in Qatar, people like would give pay somebody to take it to have its inspection and do all that, and I just do it myself. people thought I was strange. I was like, I don't want somebody driving my car, so I'm just going to do it myself. So I try to do a lot of stuff here myself. So even though it can be frustrating, I find that once you've done it yourself, it's less frustrating. So Oporos is nice. Super pretty. Do I think a lot of people are moving abroad? I don't think there's a lot of people moving abroad to Greece. What I think, at least from what I can see, is that a lot of British people are moving to Greece because before Brexit, they could just come here and they didn't need a residence permit per se. They didn't need to register, but they didn't have like this whole process. And now that they're not in the EU anymore, they're having to go through the process like I went through. And so it's feels like more people are moving here, but I don't think that's actually the case. I could be totally wrong though. Um, so it's I don't have like numbers. I mean, there are a lot of foreigners here, like not a lot, but like more than probably there were like when I came here, when I told people the visa I was on, they were like, "What is that?" And of course, now we have the digital nomad visa, and I have met more people that are on that, but it's mostly like young people. It's people that just really want to like come for the year. They don't want to stay and live here. They just want to come for like a longer like time period. So, do I watch the talk show Happy Date? No. Hmm. I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, I have Netflix, but I don't um, watch a lot of it. So, oh, thank you, Thomas. um, I did not even know about this. I'm hoping to be out of town next week, so probably not. And since I'm not a nomad anymore, I don't know. I'm from Texas. It probably doesn't sound like it, but that is where I'm from. So nice to see you too. Thank you all for coming and um, hanging out and chatting with me. Thomas, don't worry. You can watch it later. It's gonna be it's gonna stay on the channel. I'm not gonna delete it before all that. So you can watch it over. Watch it later. God, I think maybe an hour is my limit because I'm starting to not make sense now. So uh I don't want summer to be over. Like I'm glad that it's raining, but I hope it stops because I'd like to go back to the beach. It was a really hot summer. So I understand why people are like, "Ugh." Um, so, but I don't know. This is interesting because June was really hot, and then maybe because I was just over it. In July, I was just like, whatever. It's just hot. Like it just is what it is. And like when I went sailing with my friend, it wasn't even that bad. Like the year before when I went sailing, I thought I was gonna die. He'll tell you that. So yeah. Oh, I'm glad that the bus is working well for you in Mykonos because I feel like taxis there would be ridiculously expensive. So I'm gonna have to go there at some point. It's not high on my list, but I think for the nature of this, I should go. So, oh, it depends. Do you want it to be warm? Because if you want it to be warm, I would go to Naxos because Thessaloniki might be getting cool by October because it's so much further north. But I really liked Thessaloniki, and I was there in December, and it wasn't freezing cold, so it may be fine. But it's a nice. I really liked it. Great food there, amazing food in Thessaloniki. There's a vegan. There are a couple of vegan places. One is called Avocado, and the other one is called Wild Souls. I'm not even vegan, and I order from there and have it delivered because they have this. Oh, what's it called? I'm gonna look. That it's that good that I like it that much. The bowl, it's like a bowl thing that I get. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what it is that I get there if I can find it in a reasonable amount of time. It's called the wild taco salad. So it's sweet potato, guacamole, chips, falafel, and I forget what else. Um, it's like a salad bowl. So good. Um, Mykonos is great. I'm so okay. Yeah, it's just it's expensive. So you're so welcome. I'm glad. That's the whole point of this. So Veganaki is the other place, and then there's I don't know if it's purely vegan, but it's gluten free, and it's down near Sintagma, and the name of it is escaping me right now. Darn. Anyway, it's supposed to be really good. Avocado and, it's called Wild Souls is the other place. I'll type it. Wild Souls. And I get the wild tacos salad. Vegan Vandal? That sounds fantastic. We're not gonna talk about that. Oh, you're gonna ask the same thing. Um, I don't really wanna talk about it too much. It's not something that, um, I feel comfortable talking about because I don't want people that I date to see this and then think I'm talking about them. So let's just say I'm still single. So, so I agree with Thomas. So, yeah, there are lots of vegan restaurants. I wish I could remember the name of that place. That's the gluten-free place down near Singtagua because everybody's recommending it to me. I never go down there, and it's not a place that delivers, so I can't think of the name now. Um, oh, that's frustrating me. And there's so many restaurants down there, I'll never find it. So, um, hold on. See if I can find it. No, not the Starbucks. Oh, okay, I can't find it. So, I'm probably too old for most of you. So, um, anyway, all right, I'm probably gonna cut this off soon. So get your last questions in because my throat is starting to hurt from all this fabulous conversation. So I think I'm gonna have to do this more often so that I can actually like talk more during this and or maybe have tea. I don't know, hot tea, vegan llama something. No, it's not vegan llama. It's like a gluten-free place. Okay, I'm just gonna Google it because it's driving me crazy. Nudie Foodie, and it's in Siri. It's not near Singtongma. Nudie Foodie. It's gluten-free. I don't know. I don't think it's purely vegan though. Um, so, and I haven't eaten there yet, but everybody recommends it to me. So I need to try that at some point. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do more of these lives now that they've created this um these the vertical lives. I'm hoping that when I'm out walking around, I can do some lives like while I'm out walking around just with like my phone. So yeah. So Yasu Sam. No worries. I knew I was gonna do it and then I forgot to like do um like make the announcement early enough because I've been so busy at work that I complete and then like on Wednesday I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't said anything about this week being alive. So part of it is me. So, but just remember, anytime I do them, at least these Thursday night, like sit down ones, will be on Thursday at 8 o'clock Athens time. So, um, yeah. The laundromats, I go to when I was going to the laundromat, it was the Easy Wash, and those are pretty good. So, yeah. So, no, the fires are pretty much over. We've had lots of rain this week, so everything is good. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining and all your amazing questions. And I will try to be better about like letting you guys know a couple more days in advance. That's why I did 2 community posts because I was afraid that people wouldn't um, um, have seen it. So, uh, yeah. Do you mean like for travel stuff? Yes, I do. I don't do residence permit stuff because I'm not an expert. So just put that in there. So, oh, sometimes these little comments get away from me. So thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next video, and have a good evening, day, night, wherever you are. Thanks again, guys. Bye. Thank you, Sam.